Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and we have breaking news, and this is pretty big actually. Humza Yousaf has for a long time said that no, we didn't use WhatsApps, or if we did use WhatsApps, we didn't have any policy on them, we didn't discuss things on them. He's now just admitted that government policy was to delete WhatsApp messages. Their policy was to delete it. Why? Why was their policy? The whole policy of government is that you retain records. And he's saying he deleted everything. They deliberately did so because it was policy. This is criminal. This man needs to be arrested, charged, prisoned, along with all the rest of them. This is a stunning revelation. They're not supposed to delete any records. And yet now they're saying that the policy was to delete it. And not just their personal one. Government policy. This is criminal. This alone should mean that the Scottish Assembly should be completely wound up and all powers retained back to Westminster. Or at least they do keep records. Let's have a look at this. It's stunning. So again, this news is sort of hot off the press. It's 12:14. It was dated 12:49 or time 12:49. As I'm recording this, it's 13:07. So 17 minutes ago, 18 minutes ago. So it is literally breaking news on this. So Humza Yousaf admits government policy was to delete WhatsApp messages as he dodges key Nicola Sturgeon question. Of course he dodges. He doesn't want to answer anything. He daren't. He daren't answer the questions. He daren't tell the truth. None of them do. They're all slimy, two-faced, lying bastards. And not one of them can be trusted. And this is why the Scottish Assembly needs to be wound up. It has failed, and it has failed spectacularly. And no one believes anyone anymore. Every one of them is a liar. The former First Minister with her successor have been urged to come to the Scottish Parliament to make statements on the ongoing deleted COVID WhatsApp scandal, with Scottish Tory leader Douglas Ross writing to both of them. They won't, and if they found themselves in Parliament, they'd refuse to answer, or they'd just do what they always do. They'd stand in the Assembly and they'd just outright lie. You can believe nothing that comes out of these fork-tongued fuckers is ever anything close to the truth. Humza Yousaf has admitted that the Scottish Government policy during COVID was to routinely delete WhatsApp messages as the scandal surrounding them deepens. But he refused to answer whether Nicola Sturgeon had wiped key correspondence about the pandemic. Well, no, that's up to her if she's done it. He can't speak for her, I get that. But he should not have been deleting them. They know the rules on keeping records. And so if he's doing that, he's a criminal. He's breaking the law. We previously told that the former First Minister and her successor manually got rid of correspondence during the pandemic, but both remained publicly silent on this issue at the weekend, with the Scottish Government saying parliamentary comment will be made by Deputy First Minister Shona Robinson this week. Another one who just opens her mouth and the lies and the horse shit comes pouring out, vomitous bullshit every time she opens her gob. Mr. Yousaf has now broken his silence and claims that he had not deleted WhatsApps during the pandemic. Liar. Liar. Absolutely a liar. But also suggesting that it was government guidance at the time to do so. He's a liar, because if he hasn't deleted them, then why hasn't he presented them? He's a lying, two-faced tosser. Speaking to broadcasters, he said, "I kept WhatsApp messages. I fully intend on handing them over to the COVID inquiry." Go on then. Do it now. Do it right now. Don't go through going delete. Hand them over. You haven't got any. You've deleted all of them, haven't you? He was asked specifically about Miss Sturgeon and added, "I'm confident that the former First Minister can speak for herself." So am I, but you're not answering the question, are you? She said, in terms of what she's kept and what she's retained. The rationale for that. But of course, he said, we had the social media policy, which requires us to routinely delete WhatsApp messages. That was the policy at the time. No, nobody deletes these things. The policy is that all records must be kept. That's the policy. And if you're deleting them, you're breaking that policy. Of course, the do not destroy order is what we expect everyone to comply with. Expect, yeah. ping, ping, ping. Trust me, deleting everything. Scottish Government ministers, former ministers, and of course government officials like clinical directors and advisors, and that is my expectation. Well, I've got news for you, sunshine. Your expectations do not meet what the expectations of the people are, because you know you're lying. You cannot help yourself. The Scottish Tories have claimed that Mr Yousaf is hiding behind his deputy and demanded that he himself face MSPs about the escalating scandal. Questions have been raised about whether government officials did not comply with do not destroy orders sent out by the UK COVID inquiry. Of course they did. They just deleted them. They know it's better to be punished for deleting these messages than it is to be doing 30 years for the mass murder of 5,500 people. Last week it was revealed that Scotland's National Clinical Director Jason Leach manually deleted messages during the height of the pandemic. Oh yes, I do it every day as a matter of course, like no one else in the world ever, unless they've got something seriously bad to hide, which he undoubtedly did. It's also been reported that the Chief Medical Officer, Gregor Smith, also automatically wiped as well. Because again, none of this must ever exist. None of it must ever come out, or they're all going to jail. The Scottish Government and the SNP refused to put any of their politicians up for questioning on BBC's Good Morning Scotland. Of course not. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be questioned. They don't want to be scrutinised. They don't want the truth to come out because they know, as we do, that the truth would bury them. Mr Leach was also unavailable for comment, running away and hiding very bravely. It sparked fears that the Nationalists are putting up a wall of silence over these serious complaints. Yeah, if they don't keep their gobs shut, they all go to prison for 30 years for mass murder. That's the problem. Scottish Tory leader Douglas Ross submitted a topical question to the Scottish Parliament's presiding officer, which demands that Mr Yousaf explain his administration's policy on mobile phone message retention. He's also written to Ms Sturgeon and requested that she makes a personal statement in Holyrood. Don't hold your breath. She's under increasing pressure over claims she misled the public and the MSPs after vowing to Channel 4 News at her daily COVID press conference that all correspondence would be disclosed to the inquiry. And we know that is also a big fat can of Nicola Sturgeon bullshit, like everything else that comes out of that obnoxious toxic gob at the front of her lying face. Mr Ross suggested that the planned parliamentary statement from Miss Robinson wouldn't cut it and that the First Minister and his government must submit themselves to proper scrutiny. He described it as unacceptable. But again, they're not going to turn up. Why would they turn up and answer questions that they know would send them to jail? He added, Humza Yousaf has serious questions to answer. He was a senior figure in Nicola Sturgeon's cabinet at the time of the pandemic, so he must know what her government policy was on retaining messages. He has a duty to explain what that was, which is why I've submitted a topical question to the presiding officer today. This scandal has grown by the day since I raised it at FMQs on Thursday in the wake of the revelation that morning at the UK COVID inquiry that SNP ministers had failed to submit messages. And since then, we've had media reports that the National Clinical Director, Jason Leach, and Nicola Sturgeon herself have deleted these messages. If that's true, it is not only unacceptable to bereaved families who deserve answers on behalf of their loved ones, but it is potentially illegal. No potential, it's illegal. It's straight up illegal. They need to be arrested and charged and imprisoned for it. That is why I've written to Nicola Sturgeon requesting she makes a personal statement responding to these extremely serious allegations. And as someone whose reputation is growing more and more tarnished by the day, I trust she will want to clear this matter up as soon as possible. No, she really won't. I'm surprised she hasn't packed her bags, grabbed that big box of cash, and is on a private jet to somewhere that doesn't have an extradition treaty, because that's the only way she's going to avoid jail. Oh, they're all lying, two-faced bastards, aren't they? And then, we just automatically delete them because we can't possibly ever allow the truth to come out about how we potentially, possibly murdered 5,500 people for political ends. Look at her. If someone... I can't even tell you what I want her to do, but you know those big sticks with the nails in it? You'd never stop. Jesus, get me started and never stop. Anyway, I'm going to round up and come up and finish this video before I just lose my rag. I've taken a moment, I've calmed down, but it is wrong, isn't it? If he's saying all along, oh no, we've got all of these, we do blah, 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 and all the bullshit that he talks, and now he's saying, well, actually no, the official policy was we deleted our WhatsApp messages regularly because the last thing we wanted was for the truth to come out, because we know that if that was the case, people would string us up for what we've done. What we've done is along the lines of what went on in concentration camps in the 30s and 40s, and we don't want people to think that that's how bad we are, even though it is exactly how bad they are. The only difference is scale. They only did 5,500, not the millions that the others did. But, you know, given half a chance, I'm surprised they haven't actually opened concentration camps yet. I'll be on their list, wouldn't I? Because they're all scum. These people are lying, two-faced scum. And you got all those people voting for them. And they're no different. When you're lying for people like this, lying for people who are deleting messages because they know the messages would put them to prison for murder, then you know that you cannot trust them. And yet people will, next election, people will vote for murderers. I'm stopping and I'm coming up. I'm just ending it now. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.